Tomorrow marks 1 year since a mass shooting in the heart of downtown Cincinnati. A gunman opened fire at Fifth Third Center, killing 3 people and injuring 2 others. Tonight, our Lisa Smith takes a look at what has changed since.
So what's changed since last September? What's different here on Fountain Square, across Ohio and our nation? I talked to politicians, activists, and survivors to get their perspective on what's different 1 year later. 3CDC programs up to 500 events on Fountain Square each year. The criteria is free and family friendly. Despite yellow tape crisscrossing Fountain Square this time last year, Cincinnatians have not abandoned their favorite place to gather.
If anything, I think it's been a bit of a strengthening point to say, no, this is our square, and people were coming down to reclaim it and say, you know, we're not going to let this one tragic act kind of take away from this community space and this gathering space.
In fact, it was the first place Cincinnatians gathered to console one another after the shooting that shook the city's soul.
I think it affects all of us that Fountain Square was a target of a terrorist attack. But it's also a sign of the resilience of our spirit that we won't let terrorists define our freedom, that we continue to go there, and Fountain Square is as vibrant as ever.
Michelle Mueller was working on her laptop a year ago, September 6th. She was doing work for the gun violence prevention group Moms Demand Action, formed after Sandy Hook. Another member called her.
He said, Michelle, I'm on my way. There's a active shooting situation going on at Fifth Third. Your heart just drops and you think, you know, what is it going to take?
Meanwhile, Whitney Austin, the former Fifth Third Bank executive shot 12 times last year, now has a mission.
I feel like I have this purpose in life that I didn't have before.
As a gun owner, she advocates for responsible gun ownership and legislative action. She supports red flag laws in Ohio and Kentucky through her nonprofit Whitney Strong organization.
I can empathize with the fear. I want my family safe too. I want to be safe too. But there is common ground, and we can put together common sense legislation that will save lives, that will not infringe upon your Second Amendment rights.
Michelle Mueller feels the same way. Moms Demand Action has over 6 million members nationally. Their numbers swell every time there's a mass shooting. She says about 90% of Americans support background checks.
What has changed overall is 17 states now have red flag laws, and 21 states have their own comprehensive background checks.
They'll be in Columbus this fall to encourage the passage of background checks and red flag laws. Meanwhile, Mayor Cranley says the city is still fighting to get its ban on bump stocks reinstated. Currently, they're appealing a judge's restraining order that prevents the ordinance from being enforced. He's also leading an effort to get gun manufacturers to develop smart gun technology.
Someday there'll be a gun that can only be fired by the owner of that gun.
Back on Fountain Square, safety remains a top priority for everyone. There's high visibility of Cincinnati police officers and armed bank guards. 3CDC staff stays in closer communication with both, doing their best to keep the city's most famous public place safe. Lisa Smith, 9 on your side.